Excuse me, miss. Why are you dressed for laser tag?
Oh boy, you guys don't have any clue, do you? I'm here to stop the shapeshifters that are infiltrating your planet.
That's what I'm talking about.
Captain Marvel.
You know you're glowing, right?
About to show these boys how we do it. You ready?
Higher, further, faster, baby.
Yes.
Higher. Further. Faster. Higher. Further. Faster. Try to keep up.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. We got a whole bunch of new Captain Marvel footage to break down and a brand new Avengers Endgame promo for their shiny new armor. That's right, it's going to look so awesome. So we'll start with the Captain Marvel footage, then we'll talk about Avengers Endgame. There's a new round of the Amazon giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite Iron Man armor on the video. So the whole deal with this new Captain Marvel promo is they're just trying to give you a better idea for the tone of the film, like some of the jokes, because early on she was just a little more hardcore Kree. They were giving you like the military version of Carol Danvers before you got to know what her personality was actually like. So this just plays a lot on the comedy of the 2 days from retirement Nick Fury, like he's Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon. I was 2 days away from retirement. And what's actually going on this Skrulls ship. They give you a much better look at the Skrulls. We've seen a couple quick shots of them before, but this is obviously just showing you a much bigger team that's sitting on that spaceship in orbit that's been cloaked during the course of the film. So you can tell from all this footage that a lot of this is going to be Carol Danvers doing really crazy stuff as she becomes comic book Captain Marvel and Nick Fury reacting to all of it. Like, you know you're glowing, right? Which is probably this corresponding scene that we've seen in all the earlier trailers when she goes full binary before she goes into outer space and starts blowing all these spaceships up when she's at full power. But I love the way that Nick Fury greets her in this scene here. This is probably when they first meet, and he gives her that laser tag joke, like, what are you doing here? Why you look so crazy? He probably just thinks that she's just another weirdo on the streets of LA like all the other weirdos during the 80s. Like, what kind of crazy drugs has she been doing? And then she tries to give him the speech where it gets even crazier, like, oh, you have no idea. There's a secret invasion. There are aliens that are trying to take over your government. So for Nick Fury, it just keeps getting weirder and weirder until probably this moment here where you see him with the ice pack looking at the body of the Skrull. This is probably what turns her around. Like, oh, I need to believe all this. Like, you see him earlier in those other trailers where he's fumbling with his pager talking about, I am with the target, talking about Captain Marvel. Because at this point in the film, they still think that she's kind of crazy. It's not until they actually reveal that the Skrull is actually someone pretending to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that Nick Fury's like, holy crap, this is all going on. They confirmed that the decloaking ship in orbit we've been seeing since the very first trailer is the Skrull's ship. And all this footage of her trying to escape, kicking all these Skrulls' asses is after this moment where you see her in that upside down device. They recently explained this is just the Skrulls trying to extract information from her brain. She breaks out though. You can see how her hands are bound in these giant large cylinders, immobilizing her. She breaks out, but the funny thing is that she just rips them right out of their housings, but she doesn't bust them off of her hands. So she's running around bludgeoning them with this giant cylinder still stuck on her head. Then there are more couple shots of her and Nick Fury through the film after they steal this proto-Quinjet looking ship from the S.H.I.E.L.D. military base. Nick Fury looking like he's fully Team Captain Marvel at this point, screaming in excitement. Then you get the shot of him on the Skrull ship joking about her glowing. Like I said, this probably corresponds to this other shot where she goes full binary. I've already talked about Captain Marvel, or the mysterious lack of Captain Marvel, in all the Avengers Endgame trailers. Don't be surprised if they treat her in the Avengers Endgame trailers the same way they treated Superman in all the Justice League trailers. So what'll happen is Captain Marvel is hitting theaters the first week in March. We'll probably get another Avengers Endgame trailer around that time. It's about a month away. After that is probably when we'll start seeing her appear in the trailer. I think they're just holding off so that people have a chance to see the Captain Marvel movie to get the intro to her character, so you know what she's like in the MCU before she shows up in Avengers Endgame trailers. But they did the exact same thing with Superman and Justice League. We all knew he was going to be during the film, he was going to come back, but they waited till the last possible minute to put him in one of the Justice League trailers. So speaking of Avengers Endgame, we have a shiny new armor promo to break down. This is one of the better ones too, because it's super high res and it's official because it's coming from one of the licensed partners in the United States. And the stuff you see on the merchandise that they sell in and around the film, like on the popcorn tubs or like the stuff that you buy when you go to the theater, that all winds up being pretty accurate to what their costumes look like during the film. So we'll just break down all the changes going left to right. So Thor looks like he's the only one in the picture that seems like he's wearing the exact same armor from Avengers Infinity War. So I'm assuming for now, unless we get more evidence, that just means that the other Avengers get multiple costume changes during the film, and Thor only gets the one quantum armor costume change, and they're still trying to hold back on including that in official promos. So everyone else in their shiny brand new costumes, starting with Iron Man's very OG comic book looking gold armor. For some reason, which we can only guess, this is being called the Iron Man Mark 85 in the press. You remember that the Infinity War armor is called the Iron Man Mark 50, so what happened to the other 34 armors between this and this? There are only a couple ways to logically explain that. If they pull another Iron Man 3 series of quick cuts or a time jump where he spends a period of time iterating a bunch of new armors that they then pay off in some sort of Iron Man armory scene, or if you really want to be optimistic and hope, maybe pull off another similar scene from the end of Iron Man 3 where he unleashes them all at the same time.
Gotta kill for some armor right now.
You're right. We need backup.
Yeah, bunch. You know what? Is that?
Yep.
Are those?
Yeah.
Any number of those scenarios would be cool. I don't care how they get to this, it just looks really badass, so I want to see more footage of this in an actual trailer eventually. So unless he MacGyvers himself another different set of armor inside the Guardian ship with Nebula here, we'll call this the Space Cave for now, just because the scene's very obvious reference to the cave in Iron Man 1 when he was making the Iron Man Mark 1 suit. We don't have enough footage right now to know what he's doing besides trying to MacGyver his way out of this situation, so if he just fixes the Guardian ship to find a way to give it enough power to limp to a nearby spaceport or get all the way back to Earth, it seems more like the call to action for him that takes him out of his slump here in all the earlier trailers when it seems like he's super defeated and he's getting ready to lay down and die. Something happens, he remembers he's a genius, and he can save himself. And that high of the moment of inspiration just carries him forward through the rest of the plot and gives him the ideas he needs to make this new Iron Man Mark 85 armor. We could talk all day about Iron Man in Avengers Endgame. They even released a new synopsis that teases some funny consequences to the ways that the Avengers are going about fixing the universe. The new one just reads, after the devastating events of Avengers Infinity War, the universe is in ruins due to the efforts of the mad titan Thanos. With the help of the remaining allies, the Avengers must assemble once more in order to undo Thanos' actions and restore order to the universe once and for all, no matter what consequences may be in store. So it just implies some very ominous consequences to what the Avengers are doing with the quantum energy in the quantum realm, but the butterfly effect is probably the best analogy, like you change one minor thing to try and fix everything, but it causes a lot of unintended consequences, some of them really bad down the road. Captain America's armor seems pretty self-explanatory. It's just a refreshed version of his Captain America Civil War armor with the scales exposed. Cool costume Easter egg though you may have spotted during Infinity War. When Captain America shows up during the film, he's been wearing his Civil War armor for the past few years, but because of his disillusionment with the government and his status as a fugitive, he's darkened the star and he hasn't been repairing the armor, so just chalk it up to life on the run. They wanted him to look like things had been really bad for him in that time since Civil War, visibly broken down, mentally broken down. But when you see the torn armor up close, you can spot the comic book scales underneath that top layer. So it seems like he just cleans up this Civil War armor and removes the damaged top layer portions, exposing all of the scales. The Black Widow costume doesn't look that much different, just a little sleeker stealth suit with her gauntlets and her stun batons, but the very, very noticeable difference is that she has the longer red hair that she's grown back out with the blonde mix of the haircut from Infinity War, all the concept art that we've seen in the behind-the-scenes pictures. This is the clearest indicator of a time jump, just the time it would take her to grow that hair out. Hawkeye in his Ronin costume, as we've already seen in all the trailers, slightly better look at him, the new haircut. It's pretty close to the Ronin Hawkeye costume from the comics. I already did a video after Infinity War about why Hawkeye would become Ronin and be doing all this after the snap. It's all about his family. They made such a big stink about him being 2 days away from retirement. Like I said, Nick Fury, Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon, 2 days away from retirement. All he wanted to do in Avengers Age of Ultron was retire to his secret farm so that he could be with his secret family that none of the other Avengers knew about, which is where he would have been chilling out until the snap. So he probably had the exact same scene that Ant-Man did at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, only he was sitting there in a room watching his family turn to dust, not totally understanding what's going on. then all these scenes of him in the Avengers Endgame trailer in Japan in the Ronin gear is just his way of dealing with the grief. So like you saw that during the Super Bowl trailer, all of them trying to deal with their respective grief in different ways. But then we got to talk about this very Banner-looking version of Professor Hulk in the shiny new spandex armor. It's kind of armor, but Hulk doesn't really need armor, so I'm guessing this is just more of a special fabric spandex style that stretches when he grows and contracts when he goes back to Banner form, so that he doesn't keep shredding his clothes every single time he hulks out. The reason why there's so much purple in it is just a comic book reference to Hulk's classic purple pants. But look at his face and look at his hair. It's a real haircut, and like Banner, streaked with a little gray on the sides. Hulk's hair normally looks crazy like this, and it's not gray at all. I've already done a few videos about what the Russos have said about Hulk's arc through Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, and it's mostly about the relationship between Banner and the Hulk. They explained that Hulk wouldn't come back during Infinity War because he was protesting Banner's treatment of him, because Banner would only let Hulk out when he wanted Hulk to fight for him. So it's funny to think that Hulk has dreams of his own, like, I have things that I want, let me out, let me be a person too. So Professor Hulk in the comics is just the perfect fusion of Banner and the Hulk. So it just confirms that Hulk and Banner work their shit out sometime during Avengers Endgame and get down to some serious smashing. The other really cool thing about Professor Hulk is that he can speak intelligently because it's Banner speaking with Hulk's voice. Just based on the way they're presenting these costumes, it seems like they're supposed to be the main versions of the costumes for most of the film. So if they wear those white quantum suits that we've been seeing all the images of, it might just be for a short period during the film. But remember how we keep talking about all those weird wrist devices in all the pictures? They have them in these scenes from the original Battle of New York in the first Avengers film. They have them in this promo art with the white suits. In Black Widow, in this new promo images with their new costumes, has one on her wrist as well. So I've seen a couple theories about what these actually are, and I do agree that they probably have something to do with the way they use quantum energy. So everybody post all your reactions for the new Captain Marvel footage and the new Avengers Endgame armor in the comments below. And what'll happen is there's a whole bunch of other Marvel stuff that drop and a bunch of DC trailers. I'll try to get through that stuff as fast as possible, but let me know if there's any special Marvel videos that you guys want me to make. So click here for all that really cool Avengers Endgame trailer footage, and click here for more brand new Game of Thrones Season 8 promos. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.